In a beautifully decorated church filled with flowers and smiling faces, Sarah and Michael's wedding was a picture of perfection. During the vows, Michael suddenly struck his bride, shocking everyone present. As chaos erupted and security dragged him away, Sarah sat silently in her wedding dress, touching her bruised cheek. 2 hours later, a mysterious man in a white coat walked into the church, and Sarah's face immediately turned pale. What this man revealed changed everything about that terrible moment. Sarah and Michael's love story began in the most ordinary of places, a busy coffee shop where Sarah worked as a barista while finishing her teaching degree. Michael, a promising young architect, came in every morning for his coffee. Their daily interactions grew from shy smiles to conversations, and finally to a first date. Over the next 5 years, they built a life together. Michael's career flourished as he became a partner in his firm, while Sarah found her calling teaching first grade. They moved in together after 2 years, adopted a dog, and planned for their future. Their friends often remarked how perfect they were together, the kind of couple others aspired to be. When Michael proposed on their 4th anniversary, no one was surprised. It seemed like the natural next step in their fairy tale romance. The summer breeze carried the scent of roses through the old stone church. Sunlight streamed through stained glass windows, casting colorful patterns across the faces of eager guests. This was meant to be Sarah and Michael's perfect day, a celebration of their 5-year journey together. Sarah stood in the church vestibule, clutching her bouquet. Her heart raced as the wedding march began to play. The heavy wooden doors swung open, revealing the path that would lead her to Michael. Her soon-to-be husband stood at the altar, tall and handsome in his black tuxedo. The guests rose, turning to watch Sarah's entrance. Michael's eyes locked with hers, and his hands trembled slightly as she made her way down the aisle. The morning had been filled with laughter and joy as Sarah got ready with her bridesmaids. Everything seemed perfect, too perfect perhaps. The ceremony proceeded according to plan. The priest spoke of love and commitment, of facing life's challenges together. Then came the moment for their personalized vows. Sarah unfolded her paper, her voice clear and strong as she began to speak. Michael, our love has weathered every storm. Together, we've overcome every obstacle life has thrown our way. The change in Michael was instant and terrifying. His face transformed, confusion clouding his features before giving way to something darker. The paper in Sarah's hands shook as she noticed the shift in his expression. Before anyone could react, before anyone could make sense of what was happening, Michael's hand struck out. The sound of the slap echoed through the church. Sarah stumbled backward, her veil falling askew. Her bouquet dropped to the floor, white roses scattering across the altar steps. For a moment, time seemed to freeze. Then chaos erupted. Guests leaped from their seats. Sarah's brother was the first to reach Michael, grabbing his arms from behind. The best man, who had been standing just feet away, jumped in to help restrain him. The church filled with shocked gasps and confused shouts. Children began crying, adding to the pandemonium. Sarah's maid of honor rushed to her side, wrapping protective arms around her shoulders. The bride's face was bright red where Michael's hand had struck, but her eyes showed more shock than pain. The priest quickly stepped between the couple, trying to restore order as the church descended into mayhem. 2 security guards fought their way through the panicked crowd. Elderly guests pressed themselves against the walls, while others crowded the aisles, unsure whether to flee or help. Sarah's mother screamed from the front pew, her voice cutting through the chaos as she called for someone to call the police. Michael offered no resistance as the security guards led him away. His face had taken on a vacant expression, as if he wasn't fully present in the moment. His eyes darted around the church in confusion, not focusing on any one thing. The best man followed closely behind, still ready to intervene if needed, but Michael showed no signs of further aggression. He looked lost, disoriented, a stark contrast to the confident groom who had stood at the altar minutes before. As they reached the church doors, he suddenly stopped and looked back at Sarah, his expression flickering between confusion and horror, before the guards firmly guided him outside. In a small side room of the church, Sarah sat surrounded by her family. Her white dress pooled around her feet as she stared silently at the floor. Her mother hovered nearby, alternating between comforting words and urgent pleas to press charges. Sarah's father paced the room, phone in hand, speaking with the police. But Sarah remained eerily calm. Tears rolled down her cheeks, but she made no sound. Her hand occasionally touched her bruised cheek, but her expression revealed something deeper than physical pain. She looked like someone carrying a heavy secret. The police arrived within minutes of being called, their sirens breaking the tense atmosphere around the church. Officers spread out across the property while a detective interviewed key witnesses. The security guards explained how Michael had walked calmly with them to the church entrance, then suddenly broke away and ran toward the parking lot. They had tried to follow, but he disappeared between the rows of cars. A search of the immediate area yielded nothing. Police checked local hospitals, thinking he might have sought medical help, but no one matching his description had been admitted. They called his workplace, his apartment, and known friends, but nobody had heard from him. His phone went straight to voicemail. His car was still in the church parking lot, keys in the ignition, but no sign of where he might have gone on foot. Sarah's brother and several groomsmen formed search parties, combing through nearby streets and alleyways. They checked coffee shops, stores, and parks where Michael usually spent time. Some guests used their phones to check security cameras in the area, hoping to catch a glimpse of him in his distinctive wedding attire. But as the hours ticked by, the search proved fruitless. The police remained concerned about Michael's state of mind, given the unusual nature of the incident. They put out an alert to local precincts to be on the lookout for a man in a wedding tuxedo who might appear disoriented or confused. Hours passed and most guests departed, leaving only the closest family members. The atmosphere in the church grew heavy with unanswered questions and a growing sense of worry about Michael's whereabouts. That's when he appeared. A man in a white coat stood in the church entrance, his presence commanding immediate attention. But it was Sarah's reaction that caught everyone off guard. The moment she saw him, her face drained of color. Recognition flickered in her eyes, followed by something that looked like dread. The man stepped forward, introducing himself as Dr. Thompson. He explained that he was Michael's psychiatrist, and with each word he spoke, the true story began to unfold. 6 months ago, Michael had received a devastating diagnosis, a rare form of early-onset dementia that could trigger sudden personality changes and violent episodes. The revelation stunned everyone present, but Sarah's reaction told a different story. She hadn't moved, hadn't gasped in surprise like the others. Instead, fresh tears rolled down her cheeks as Dr. Thompson continued speaking. The truth was even more heartbreaking than anyone could have imagined. Sarah had known about Michael's condition all along. She had been there for every appointment, held his hand through the diagnosis, helped him adapt to the medication. She had watched as the man she loved began to slip away, day by day. Dr. Thompson revealed that Michael had made a fateful decision 3 days before the wedding. Convinced he could manage without his medication, wanting to be fully himself for their special day, he had stopped taking it. The combination of this choice and the emotional intensity of the wedding had triggered the violent episode. Sarah finally broke her silence. Through tears, she explained how she had watched the love of her life change over the past months. Some days, Michael was completely himself, charming, loving, full of life. Other days, he struggled to remember simple things or became confused about where he was, but she couldn't bring herself to cancel the wedding. She had convinced herself that their love was strong enough to overcome anything. That somehow, if she just loved him enough, cared for him enough, everything would be okay. The church fell silent as everyone processed this revelation. The violent incident at the altar took on a new meaning, no longer an act of cruelty, but a tragic manifestation of an illness that was slowly stealing away the man Sarah loved. And you? What would you do if you discovered your partner was hiding such a life-changing secret? Would you have kept the wedding date hoping love would be enough?